this. Everything's stopped except the stream. Hello, stream. Oh God, I think the dog wants to go out. What's wrong? Are you tired from all your annoying us while we're yogaing? There you go. Yeah, that's nice. That's what people want to see is your bottom standing in the sunlight. Hello, everybody. So I got to make coffee. So I was like, you can witness the creation of coffee in this wonderful, I think that's empty, isn't it? Let's see what we're doing here. Coffee. Oh, I got to clean this out. Isn't this exciting? How is everybody? Let me put you over here while I get myself sorted. And by sorted, I mean get myself some coffee. What do we got? We got, hello, Soma, Gary, Gaga's Little Monster, CM Dex, Marcos, Dave, and Evo, and Ivan, and who else we got? Manon, did I say hi to Manon? All right, I'm making coffee. Don't bug me. Crazy Not Denmark, CH, Easy Sparky, the real Laser Falcon, Mel, hello Mel. What else we got? Was that a Cameranda? Hey, Cameraden. Evo from Czech, Candace, Baz. That's not my Baz, I don't think. What do we got? The Untidy Tech. That sounds like my kind of thing. Dave's the dude. Well, I am the dude, it's true. All right, so I got to dump this out. So I'm making coffee because I'm a little behind today. I have, Jane made me do yoga. So my burn learn today was yoga. And the learning was how much I hated yoga. And how much more graceful my wife is in all of these moves. She's like a freaking ballerina up there. And I'm like, whoa! I literally at one point landed on my head. And that wasn't even during a move. That was like moving from one move to another move. I managed to land on my freaking face. And the dog's in my face licking. I've never thought that at age 53, I'd be making out with a mutt. But she's got her tongue in my nose and licking my face. We're talking about the dog now, not my wife, just to be very clear. So that's my yoga experience. And I swear to God, I think yoga kicks my ass possibly more than the damn exercise does. Evo, I thought you might be a Zelenka fan. Well, then you're in the wrong place. You are in the wrong place because here. Zelenka just means to screw something up. That's basically, I use Zelenka as a verb at this point. Oh man, I just Zelenka'd that. Like I just Zelenka'd yoga. So, no, we love our Zelenka. I mean, we do, but McKay, not a big fan. McKay, not a big fan of anybody who might be anywhere near as smart as he is. All right, let me get some milk. No, milk. Do I want milk? No, I want coffee beans. All right. Ooh, somebody stocked the freezer. Oh, crap. Oh, man, I dropped the pastry thing down the back. How do I get that? I think I need Baz's little hands. Baz's little hands are needed. Oh, man. Okay. I got some kind of a tender flake crust thing stuck behind it. All right. Okay, please, feel free to talk amongst yourselves. So that fell down the back. I had to dive into the Arctic weather at the back of the freezer. Okay, so let me put this back in wherever the heck Jane had it. Jane is like, what the heck? It's like a freaking Tetris game, trying to get anything in and out of the freezer. Sucked at Tetris. What do we got? Yes, I think McKay and Samantha may be smarter. What? Than him at one point. The old guy... Get what games? Yoga, or how to learn how your flexibility sucks. I have no flexibility. I just have pain. It's all just pain. Look, I'm having a little night flight. So what I like to do is to mix a little decaf with the calf so that I'm, so that when people listen to me talking, I actually make some sense as opposed to just a gut. Oh, no, they're not both. Oh, my God. I thought it was both decaf, and I was in big trouble. Okay, so this is the Robo. This is my coffee Robo machine. This is like the most brilliant thing in the world. You basically put your fresh grounds in here. Maybe I'll show you what's going on. So I take my fresh grounds, I pour them in here. Oh, look at that. And then I mix it with a little bit of decaf just to pretend I'm being healthy. This is like I'm pretending that it's not fully caffeinated. I have like 3 or 4, and I mix it all together with my terribly clean hands. Delicious. Okay, and then I put that back on again. And then what I usually do is I'll start it up. You won't be able to hear anything because it'll make a horrible noise. And then I'll fill it with water while I do that. So here we go. So here we go. Ready? Everyone, you're joining me as I make coffee. Coffee goes on. It makes a lot of noise. Robot, ready? So I put on the water. I fill it with water. There we go. Filling it with water. I like a good... We've used it so much that it's worn off all of the numbers. Here we go. Almost done. And there's that. Okay. That's done. And now, and then I get in trouble if I don't put everything away again. For some reason, you can't just leave everything on the counter and the magic kitchen elves come out and clean everything up. So apparently I have to put things away. Baz apparently has little kitchen elves that just follow him around cleaning everything up. It's amazing. So I've had a couple of epiphanies, which I'll tell you about once you can hear me. There you go. I've had a couple of epiphanies about Tech Bandit stuff. Hang on. All right, let me get the dog back in. Come on, dog. Have a nice time out there? Look at your nose covered in snow. Let's go. Come on. Here you come. No, coffee's from me, not you. Thank you. What dog likes coffee? This dog would eat anything, I swear. Okay, so then we put them back in the plastic bags to keep them nice and fresh, and I keep it in the freezer because apparently that helps too. I don't know what it is. So a couple of epiphanies about the whole Tech Bandits thing. I was on YouTube way too late last night, and I was looking at all this stuff about MailChimp and how one does email marketing and stuff, and I suddenly went, you know what? This is stupid. I'm not marketing anything. I mean, like, come on. I didn't do it again. Okay, this is it. This is welcome to my frickin' nightmare. This stupid freezer. We went for a fridge with a tiny frickin' freezer, and I blame my wife. So we've got this tiny freezer that has to be like Tetra Jane. Only Jane can handle this freezer. But what happens is I put the coffee back where the coffee's supposed to be, and what happens? I knock the can you see back there? I knock that back there, and then my stupid hands. Did it not work? My stupid hands are too big and fat to get in there to retrieve the. All right, here we go. I'm trying. Here we go. Have I got it? No, not yet. Oh, I got it. Okay. I think stupid thing. Jane, we need a better freezer. There you go. She's used to me. She's used to my periodic outbreaks. Okay, is that where the hell? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? Where's that supposed to go? There's no freaking room for it. Oh my God! I freaking hate this thing. There you go. Fine, it's done. Okay. Could you imagine being stuck in lockdown with me? What a freaking nightmare. Okay, so I need some coffee, obviously. So the thing that I realized in this MailChimp, email marketing, Tech Bandits, what's that noise? I might have broken the freezer. So the thing that I realized was that it's not really marketing. Like it's not, I feel like all I really want to do is just send everybody an email saying, isn't this cool? Like that's like, just like literally like, hey, Baz, check this out. You know, that kind of stuff. And of course you can't do that when you've got so many people in a list. Like I don't know what I've got now in there, but it's probably like a good 500 people or so. So I can't just send an email, which is what I would like to do. So you have to sign up for these stupid like MailChimp services. And anyways, I've decided to try to simplify it. Like just make them emails. Like just say hi, and this is the stuff that we're working on. As opposed to, I feel like I was spending a lot of time trying to get the formatting right and to make it look professional and stuff. And the reality is, look at me. Like, does anything about me say professional other than professional goof? I mean, like, so that's not, people aren't there for professional. They're there for me to be excited about something or to get angry about the fridge. So don't answer that, TBB. Please don't answer that. You're right. You're banned. I don't know how to do it, but one day. Anyways, so that was sort of this epiphany that came to me. I was like, look, I should just be sending emails like I'm talking to friends, because that's really what I'm doing. It's just my fellow geeks and my fellow lifelong learners and stuff. So I don't know, this silly little epiphany, but that's what came to me late in the early hours of this morning while I wasn't sleeping, when I should have been sleeping. So today I have another ADR session. So that ADR session that I was telling you about the other day, where I had to go in and I had to record additional dialogue for the show, the show that I'm doing, based it's in LA. I guess all the big wigs are in LA. So we connect to LA and then we do the ADR and they'll throw in their comments and stuff. So apparently they so enjoyed it that they, in other words, they missed something or whatever, and I have to go back today to another different studio, which I mean, this is where the anxiety stuff comes in for me. Like, I need to know, maybe it's a controlling thing. I don't know if it's a controlling thing or whether it's just an anxiety thing, but I don't like, I'm fine when I get somewhere. When I get somewhere, I'm fine. But the logistics of getting anywhere, I find I spin my wheels. I chase my own tail. I get so, I check Google like 50 times as to how long it's going to take to get there and stuff. I hate being late. There's nothing I hate more than being late. My joke is that I have my father's OCD and need for organization and control and schedule and meticulous, clipping and clopping, as he would say, very, very organized desk spaces and all that kind of stuff. But I got my mother's chaos. I got my mother's wonderful, creative, madness, basically, of the Pitt family. And so I'm obsessive compulsive and unable to do that. So anyways, that's my little whine and complaint for the day. I'm the same with cooking. Everything has to be in its place. Yeah, I mean, the thing I discovered about cooking for me was the thing that absolutely revolutionized cooking for me, in the same way that Netflix originally, not anymore, but it used to revolutionize the way I watched films, because they would deliver them to my house on a DVD. So you were forced to choose the films that you knew you wanted to watch. Is this like these delivery services, like, what do we got? HelloFresh, there's another one we have as well. HelloFresh and, hey Jane, what's the other? Good food. I think it's Good Foods. We have a couple of them, and none of them are perfect yet. But what I love about it is, stuff's not really prepared for you. It's just there for you. So you've got a bag of stuff that is going to have everything you need to make the dinner. Because what happens to me is it's like I'll be like reading a recipe off the internet. I'll be like grabbing stuff and cooking stuff, and then suddenly it's like, we don't have whatever, and that's it. It all falls apart to me. Then it's like I go into full McKay despair mode, where I'm like, it's never gonna work. We're all gonna die of starvation, and I give up. So the beautiful thing about these delivery services is that, especially during a pandemic where my poor wife can't leave the house, I say her because I don't want to leave the house. I'm quite happy in my little house with my little basement with my LED lights and my robots. I don't need to go anywhere. So, but she obviously wants to get away from me. So, especially while we're stuck at home, I think the least I could do with her working so freaking hard on her damn movies is that I can make dinner. And these allow me to make dinner without interrupting her all the time, like about how to fix things or do things, or honey, the oven's on fire again. So that kind of stuff. So yeah, my fan cave. I would never leave my fan cave if I didn't want to. If I didn't have to, I think I would stay there. I would probably just set up the streaming camera and I would just be live all the time, just chatting away and doing stuff, and people could just log in and out as they want to. But the reality is, I got to earn a living, and I kind of enjoy my job. You got to say, I don't like all the having to go outside stuff, but I do rather like the acting stuff when it shows up. So I'm very lucky that I'm on a couple of things right now. So I've got a little bit of ADR to do today. Tomorrow I got a couple of things to do. Tomorrow I got to go and get some more makeup, hair, and I guess wardrobe tests done for this show that I've apparently I'm joining for a while now. Apparently, so I have to do that, and then I have to do COVID test as well for another show. So it's weirdly busy. But again, this is all the stuff I hate the most. All the running around stuff. The logistics of it drive me crazy, to the point where my agents and my lovely wife generally insist that they drive me, because I get so freaked out trying to get myself places that it's just better to have one of their transport guys drive me around, because the drivers know where they're going, and they can get there in time, and they're not going to panic at the first sign of trouble. So it's just something that everyone has realized about me is that my logistics skills are terrible, and my direction skills are the. You think McKay was bad with maps? I am bad with maps in a way. I'm like, I don't even, I can't even, who would be, I don't even know who, like a good example of the worst person with maps. I'm like, I could get lost in a box. Honestly, I'm that good. I did get lost in a box. A cube. There you go. I've already done it. So there you go. But I figured out the cube. Johnny got there before I did. That's good. We need a AAA Stargate MMO. Yeah, no kidding. Don't we? Look, in the meantime, I'll tell you, I always pitch these guys because I really like what they're doing. They're a bunch of nerds, fellow nerds. I use nerds in a very affectionate way because I consider myself one. But you should check out the Wyvern Gaming RPG game because they've used the 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons to create a Stargate RPG game, role-playing game that is really fun. Like it's really, I mean, in a way, I have difficulty with it because honestly, I don't know enough of the Stargate lore. Like I know my Atlantis stuff, sort of, and even the Atlantis stuff is fading from my old gray matter because as my hair recedes and my brain gets slower, I don't remember a lot of the stuff from the specifics of shows and plot lines and stuff. I mean, watching the Stargate stuff with my son every so often is I don't know the stuff I just don't even remember, which is just bizarre to me. Fox backed that RPG. I think I gave them some money as well. And I don't even play RPGs. Yeah, I mean, look, it's really fun because I like the way they've arranged it. Like it's D&D style with a few variations. But what I like about it most is that it's episode based. Like they've designed it so that instead of campaigns, you have episodes. And the episodes are sort of a little nod to the television show. And it allows you to sort of create your own Stargate adventures. And look, I just want to be very, very clear. I have nothing to gain from this. I'm not related to them. I have no financial ties to them. I'm not obligated in any way to talk about them. I just like what they're doing. It's one of the very few merchandising things that MGM have allowed to happen that I feel have been done well. You know what I mean? I feel like MGM they don't understand marketing. Certainly not marketing to the I shouldn't say marketing. I mean merchandising. Their merchandising stuff has just been awful for Stargate. There's so many cool. Look at this. I mean, there's animes and stuff. There's just great. Can you imagine one of these with just McKay? Or the whole crew there maybe with McKay in the front. There's no really cool Stargate paraphernalia out there, and the stuff that's really good is all stuff that's being done by, or that's got like a real. I think it's got any flair to it is being done by the fans, frankly, by 3D printing people. I mean, there's some magnificent Arduino-based Stargate, rotating Stargates and all stuff you can 3D print and then code up with Arduino and wire up with yourself and just some great stuff. And I really feel like they really dropped the ball on that. There should be some really cool stuff. Other than the amazing McKay in action figures, I call them. The action figures were kind of fun. When they did those ones, they were, I must say, I liked them. Although the first one came out, I looked like a freaking little lead troll. Maybe I am a little lead troll, but, that was I've always had complaints about the way the merchandising was done for Stargate because I feel like there's so many opportunities there. I mean, we should have really cool jackets. We should have really cool hats and sunglasses for God's sake. Or what about like iPhone cases? Like we could all be walking around with life science detectors and stuff. And people are always talking about like, I want a new Stargate series. And it's like, yes, obviously that'd be fantastic. In the meantime, the only thing that I feel like we can do, and I say we, I mean you. I mean, I'm kind of jealous because I can't do this because I'm in the freaking business thing. But is some fan fiction stuff and some fan films and fan shorts and also like fan T-shirts and fan merch. You know what I mean? The problem is, I think, as well, is that MGM have obviously a lot of lawyers in their on their books because I feel like they just shut down everything, every attempt at creativity around the franchise outside of their direct money-making ventures just seem to be just crushed by them. It's the same. I mean, for a while, Star Trek was doing the same thing. And was it NBC or whoever it was who owns Star Trek were doing the same thing? But I thought he lived in the basement. I do live in the basement, but I come out of the basement every so often for coffee. And there it is. That's what I came for. In fact, it's finished. In fact, why don't I have a nice little frothy milk with it? What do you think? Wouldn't that be nice? I think so. Oh, God, there was water in that. I just poured it down the front. I did not wet myself. Just to be clear, I did not wet myself during my burn and learn. It was actually water from the coffee thing, just so we all know. God, I had so much fun watching Barnacles last night. Was anyone watching Barnacles last night as he streamed? That guy is like a machine. He can stream for hours. He's always doing something crazy and generally inappropriate. He's just a really fun streamer to watch. And he bought me, or he sent me Doge coins. Absolutely useless cryptocurrency. But the funny thing is that they've doubled in value literally, they've doubled in value since last night. So I now have $10 worth of Dogecoins, which is very exciting. It was really funny. He was just handing them out, and people were throwing their wallet links at them, so that their codes for their wallets, so they could do it. And of course, sort of as a joke, I threw mine in there. I of course got the wrong one because it turns out that mine didn't have that. But I'm just sort of fascinated by people's fascination with this stuff. And anytime I see something that the kids are taking an interest in, I try to find a way in on that we can sort of talk to them about it. So, for example, I want to talk about speculation and about investing. And that so I have this stupid thing where I thought I'm just gonna look at what Lego figures we have and see which ones have gone up in value, and show the kids that investing is about investing involves a lot of things other than just gambling. And I mean, I would argue, and my father would probably argue as well, that investing is just kind of gambling, because there's always sort of elements of the unknown. But in something like collecting toys, collecting Magic the Gathering cards, Pokemon cards, I don't know what it is. As I say, I think that's the OCD, that my father's obsessive, meticulous organizational skills, and my mother's chaos. I feel like that's why I absolutely love organizing Lego figures and alphabetizing and then re-alphabetizing Magic the Gathering cards and stuff. And I've actually reached out to a kid who's I work with his mother at my agency, and he's a Magic the Gathering guy, and I'm hoping that I can get him to come in and talk to the kids about that side of stuff as well, because I love that stuff. So, and again, I figure if I'm interested in it, generally the kids will be as well, because I operated about the level of a 10-year-old kid. I'm basically like an adult who would just much rather be 10. What do we got? So my dad tried that until my grandpa accidentally tossed his original Marvel comics. There went my college fund. Oh my God. I heard stories of people losing boxes of Pokemon cards. I mean, look, a lot of my Dungeons and Dragons books I rescued from the garbage, from someone else's garbage, because the mom had gone and thrown out boxes and boxes of all these old Dungeons and Dragons books. And I actually, and they were beginning to mold, to get mildewy, and because they were sitting out front, and I was walking by, and I'm a bit of a trash bandit myself, so I was like, huh. And then I looked at the side, and it said D&D, and I looked in, and it's like, oh my God, there's all these. So much to Jane's chagrin, I kicked my son off his bicycle and put this box. He was about, I don't know, he was probably 7 or something at the time. So I booted him off his bicycle, put this giant box on his bicycle, and we wheeled it home. And it was just a treasure trove of all these. I mean, nothing valuable in a collector's way, but incredibly valuable to me, because it was all the old Dungeons and Dragons books and all these campaigns and stuff that I couldn't afford. I just couldn't. They were far beyond me. And also, just where do you get them from? I didn't. Back in the day, this stuff was harder to come by. But oh man, I remember going to bookstores and just looking through the Dungeons and Dragons manuals and stuff, and thinking oh man, one day I'm gonna have that, whatever it was, $30 to buy this crazy book. Now they're more than that, aren't they? Now they're $60-$70 or something for those books. Anyways, and also the kids are just. I find Dungeons and Dragons is just fantastic for the kids and the creativity, and team building, and it's fun. It's fun. Worst lost memorabilia story for my grandfather's bat boy for the Cleveland Indians. Wow, in the 20s and 30s, and he basically the entire 27 Yankees to sign a baseball. House fire claimed it all in the 50s. Oh God, that's awful. TBB, that's awful. And the funny thing now is, I think now the Cleveland Indians, are they changing their name too? Is that one of those like that they sort of discussed about these culturally inappropriate names and stuff? I wondered, because that will, of course, then everything that's named Indians will be worth a fortune because it's no longer being used. Someone is screaming in the background. Yeah, never mind. There's nothing. Don't worry about that. That's just the sound of my son apparently at school doing work. My mother had lost my Darth Vader minifigure when I was 10. Ooh. I'm trying to think what we've lost, the things that I've thrown out. Well, I mean, God, I don't know. When did I lose my Commodore 64? I don't ever remember throwing out my Commodore 64. I bet you that was tossed. Yeah. God, I was actually on Kijiji and where else was I? On eBay, looking at old Commodore 64s. I don't know when I ever have time to play with it, but God, I loved that computer. I just freaking loved it. I just think it'd be kind of fun to set up, like, we have a phone line that we never use. Like, it came with the internet, and we never use it. Why would I need a phone line? And I thought it'd be really kind of fun to set up a Commodore 64 and as a BBS. Can you imagine? Like, just like some random, like just a random BBS. I like give out the number. People could just like randomly log into an old Commodore 64 BBS if they've got, 40 minutes and a free phone line. Elizabeth, you still have your Commodore 64 displays? Oh, I'm so jealous. The big boxy ones, right? Those beautiful big boxy ones. God, they had some great stuff on that thing. What was the game with the dragon coming at you? And it was just the most amazing effects. It was almost 3D-like, the pseudo 3D effect. I can't remember what it was called. I used to love that. You can totally get a Wi-Fi adapter for C4 to let it connect to BBS and tell them, oh, can you, Johnny? Oh my God. Yes, I do remember PC BBS board. I remember PC board. I remember, my God, I was using Procom Plus. I was writing programs, scripts in Procom Plus, these crazy complex Procom Plus programs to log into Unix systems for a company that I was working for. And it would go in and create mailboxes for people and upgrade service, and oh God, it was amazing. And I had it all automated through Procom Plus, which is the modem software. So back in the day, you needed software to speak to the modem, which would then connect to the BBS, which would then run the software. I mean, it's just insane. I am convinced. Oh, Dragon's Lair, that was great. Yeah, Dragon's Lair is beautiful. Terrible game. The response was just awful on it, but it was. But I liked it. Did you hack in Jurassic Park? Yeah, exactly. It's a Unix system. AT commands. Yeah, AT commands. You had to talk to the modem. Like literally, you were giving codes directly to the modem, and you'd often have to configure that to get it to connect properly to the modem on the other side. So. You have better t-shirts than I do, no question. Interesting, Kenneth Cat. Well, you should do that. Oh, the marketing opportunity. Okay, so what you should do is you should go to thetechbandits.com and check our merchandise page because we have Tech Bandits merchandise that you can buy. There you go. Look at that. Whew, I'm like a business tycoon. And of course, all the money goes to Tech Bandits, so I can buy more Lego figures to invest. I'm not really. I mean, well, to be honest. I am buying some Lego figures because I want to buy as many Lego figures as I bought some Ethereum, and I wanted to buy like $250 or something. So I thought I'd buy like $250 worth of Lego figures, $250 of Ethereum, and we could chart the difference in the investing approaches. And I just thought I just want to point out to them that value is just what we give it. Like, something is valuable because people decide it's valuable. That is all. There is no innate value to most things other than perhaps maybe food and water. So I just love the idea of just shaking their concept of this stuff. I mean, my son was doing an investing class, and what does he do? Because he's a freaking Redditor, because he loves his Reddit, and God, sordid stuff I've heard about them on Reddit. Oh my God. The stuff that they're watching. I just, as a parent, I don't want to shut it down because I I know that it just means they won't tell me, or he won't tell me. So, but just discussing some of the stuff that they've encountered on Reddit is just horrendous. Anyways, but because of all the meme stuff, all the meme stock stuff that's been happening with Wall Street bets and stuff, Baz threw all of his investment money in his investment firm into his investment class, like fake money basically, into GameStop, and of course made a freaking shed load of money. And then I was like, sell. He sold. It was definitely on a big downturn at the time. I don't know what it's at now, but I thought that was kind of funny. Real estate. That's interesting. Look, real estate's one of those things I've always been interested in real estate, but I don't want to run a house for someone else. I don't want to rent people. I don't want to be like a landlord. I can't deal with that. That have to deal with people and stuff. So, but real estate is fascinating to me because I think there's so many people who think of real estate as an investment. And I do definitely. Like we live I've always had houses. Like ever since I was as soon as I started acting. I mean, the thing about as a young actor, you get paid as much as an old actor, right? In fact, in some cases, you get paid more as a young kid than you do as an older actor, because there's more lead roles, there's more stuff to do, you can work more because you want to. So I was bouncing from show to show to show and doing TV movies back when they actually made TV movies more and stuff, and so I made a lot of money when I was like 16, 17 years old. And by a lot of money, I mean a lot of money for anybody for that matter. I mean, not millions of dollars, but I mean, but hundreds of thousands of dollars. And my father, who'd already kicked me out of the house, basically bullied me into buying my first home, and taking a chunk of that money as a down payment on this house. And I resented it. I did it because I was still scared of my father. I think I still am. Intimidated, perhaps. He's not scared. Well, is he scary? He's not really scary. He's just, I don't know. You don't want to let your dad down. And he just seemed so excited about the idea of me buying a house. So I feel like I got conned beautifully into that. But anyways, point being is, I bought a house when I was like 17 years old. I couldn't even sign the mortgage. My father had to sign the mortgage, even though it was my money going into it. And to be fair, he had to help me out a couple of times because, as an actor, there were years that there were months within the year that sometimes I just literally didn't. I was like I worked and I haven't got paid yet, and they want to take my house. So, my dad had to bail me out a couple of times, on that. And I was always thoroughly embarrassed about that. Like, I never told anybody when I was, a young actor about that side of stuff. I was always like, yeah, I got a house, man, I got bills to pay and all this kind of stuff. The reality was that, when the going got really tough, little wimpy David went and said, Daddy, what do I do? And to his credit, he helped me out. I think I've paid him back. God, I should ask. I don't know if I have. My God, I should totally ask about that. Oh dear, guilt myself. I know I paid some of it back. I don't know if I paid everything back. It's just a couple of months, but but it was, but boy, it made a difference. It makes a huge difference to have that kind of support that, a lot of people don't have that. Anyways, point being is, I bought a house very, very young, but as a result, you're in the property ladder, and I truly believe that I don't have the skills to buy houses for investment. I don't know how to buy a house and for it to make money, like for the goal to be to make money. I buy houses that I want to live in, or that I feel would be a nice place for my family to live. Now, I usually buy a house that's a little bit more expensive than I would like to pay, because mortgages are quite cheap and stuff. I get very nervous. I mean, I should probably be borrowing more money for houses. But the way things work, I like to, I don't like to have debt. I hate debt. Debt hangs over me like a stone around the neck of the albatross, as my accounting teacher used to teach me. Poor guy. He used to teach me accounting and finances and stuff. The class. And I would just goof around, and I was horrible. It was terrible. I was always the back of the room, falling out of my chair laughing and stuff like that. And I remember him saying, like, Mr. Hewlett, what are you going to do when you become a famous actor, movie star, and then all of a sudden the tax man starts calling? And I was like, well, I'll hire an accountant, a really good one, and maybe like a lawyer. I was a little jerk. but the fact of the matter is, I did learn a few things in that class, and I did learn a little bit about finances and stuff. And my father's been really big on that as well. Sorry, Jane. Jane is sneaking around trying to steal the coffee I just made. How's the coffee, darling? What does it taste? Describe the taste to me.
I'll pour one for you if you give me a moment.
She's gonna pour the coffee for me. Jane, we have to talk about our freezer.
Why?
It's too small. It's too small, and it's like trying to play Tetris with the frickin' pastries. The frozen pastry dough keeps falling at the back, and I keep having to put my hand in, and my hand gets cold, Jane.
Oh,
Jane cannot imagine being locked down with a more amazing person than me. I just want everyone to know that. This is like a joy for her. She's like, oh my God, it's like a gift from the gods. I am not allowed to leave. I'm only allowed to stay and enjoy the company, the wit, the charm, the slight goat-like aroma of my husband all the time. Isn't it wonderful, Jane? Perfect. How are you looking all clean? Are you done? Are you?
You've been talking.
Have I been talking forever?
As long as it takes me
35 minutes. That's a long shower, Jane. You got to start conserving water. Okay. Hey, Miss Liz. How you doing, Miss Liz? I was just talking about how much fun I had on Barnacules yesterday. I was just in the text chat, but yeah, you got me all excited about the Dogecoin stuff and God, it was all sorts of stuff he was going on about. But definitely the cryptocurrency stuff I just find absolutely fascinating. Her laugh. She's got the best laugh. It's true. That's why I'm so funny. See, there you go. You're being such an adorable, fussy, funny man. It's adorable. Foxgirl, my wife is right here. That is a huge mug. That's right, Dan Ward. Or Don Watt. Dan Watt. Oh, look at that. But it's here, close, far away. See, smaller ones, far away. But it's still delicious. And crazy hot. Okay, so funny is sexy, apparently. There you go. Him talking about Microsoft was cool yesterday. I know. His experiences with Microsoft are amazing. I mean that what's funny was what first attracted me to Barnacules, other than his charms and good looks, was a video that he'd done about 5 degrees of access robot arm that was 3D printable and stuff. It's the Haddington Dynamics or Haddington Robotics. I can't remember which the HD Haddington Dynamics. Haddington Dynamics, who we haven't spoken to. I had to bail on our last chat, and of course we haven't got to talk to them since. But just this amazing robot arm that he had doing crazy, silly things, and I thought, oh my God, that is Tech Bandits material right there. So I started watching him, and then I don't know how we got in touch, but yeah, it's been, oh, that's right. What am I saying? I don't know how he got in touch. He raided my son's Twitch stream. Thank you, baby. He raided my son's Twitch stream and made him cry because like 300 people or something suddenly, descended on my son's gaming channel, and he was so excited about it. It's one of the reasons why I really like pushing other young streamers' stuff. What I'd like to do is create some way on the techbandits.com that I can showcase young streamers who are doing the work, you know what I mean, who aren't getting recognition but are doing the work. And I think that should be rewarded if it can. And I feel like I have a bit of an audience that maybe I can point some people at them and they might pick up the odd subscription here and there. And did it with a kid the other day where his father was on Reddit asking questions about how to, well, not asking. He was basically saying, like, look, could people subscribe to my son's channel? He's working really hard at it, and he doesn't have a huge number of people, and so we were bugging people on our stream the other day to sign up, and I think he's like over 100 subscribers now, and I just thought, oh God, like I just think it's so cool that we can do that, and also that that dad is going to feel so good about the fact that he's like helped his son out, and his son's going to feel so good because he's getting. He's getting crazy numbers for his stuff, and it's just kind of neat. That's what the Tech Bandits is all about. Morning, Tammy. How are you? I love that you're so engaged with the minds of the kids. If you weren't an actor, you'd surely be a teacher. I don't know, though. I don't know. I think the acting has allowed me to do this. Well, the acting has allowed me to do this because of, time and money, I suppose. I have the freedom in my schedule to do this stuff, and I have the money in the bank that allow me to do it as well, right? Both from my time and also from just resources and stuff. I mean, for the last 4 or 5 years, however long I've been doing Tech Bandits now, It's just been my money. And I'm happy to do that. It's like a hobby. It's like I get to play with the robots too, right? So, there was one year that I asked for sort of a little donation from everybody, and that was great because then I bought like 5 of these little robots for them to work with. So every group of 2 kids or so could have a robot to actually work on that kind of stuff. Just because I couldn't afford to. I mean, I just couldn't. I couldn't warrant spending that much money myself on the robot. Believe me, I tried. But so what's just been great about Tech Bandits is it's just give me a little bit of a slushette of a fund to just try some stuff here and there, and have some fun. And I think that all this stuff is not just for the kids too. I really feel like it's for anybody who's interested who's still curious. You know, what I mean, who's a lifelong learner. I mean, I always wondered about people going to university for like 4 to 7 years and then coming out and it's like, I'm done, I'm ready, there you go, I've learned everything there is to know, I'm done. It's never that case. I mean, the reality is that you're always learning. I mean, I see a future where universities aren't something you go to, it's something you subscribe to. Basically in a pandemic, it's exactly what they are, but that's, I think the idea that you're ever finished learning is ridiculous to me. And I think as soon as you stop learning, you die. And this focus for me, the focus was always on education for me growing up, and that failed me miserably. Whereas I felt that but what didn't fail me was inspiration. So people who inspired me to get into acting and to create this like a career that's done incredibly well for me. I mean, a lot of luck, admittedly, but a lot of talent as well, and a lot of hard work. Frankly, I mean, it's not. You have to. There's a lot of shoe leather, I guess, walking around doing stuff that you have to do to get to the point where you're working with any kind of regularity. But the point being what was the point? I know there was a point here somewhere. The idea was that the inspiration is what got me going. The idea that I wanted to be an actor when I grew up, that I saw these actors, performers, writers, directors. I saw people, producers, all these people making this stuff, and I wanted to be a part of that. That my summers were spent making films with my friends. I mean, yeah, of course it was a lot of fun, but we were working like 20-hour days on these things, like all summer in some cases. It was glorious. I loved it. A bit disappointed to actually go and do it for a living because you're like, what do you mean I can only act? Why can't I hold the boom for a bit? Or I'll film this. Or let me have the camera. Like, it's a bit disappointing when you actually get into the business itself, and it's so everything is delegated so specifically. There's such little sort of groups. And the idea, of course, behind it is that if then someone gets sick or someone disappears or any kind of a breakdown in the system, you've got the rest of the production can keep going. Like, you lose a prop designer, you've got other prop people there who can sort of jump in for the day or whatever until things are sorted out. Or you lose a DOP, you've got there are cameramen and stuff who can step in if necessary, for the short term type thing. The idea is like it's almost like a production. It is a production. It's almost like a production line. It's almost like manufacturing, where they just want to make sure that they break the process down into lots of little pieces that they can then replace easily. So I think that will change and is changing as technology allows the many different things that people do to be done by the same people. So, I mean, nowadays you could write, direct, film, star, do the VFX, build all the props, edit, produce, distribute, sell, promote. You could basically do everything yourself and by yourself to some extent. It would take a lot of work, and you'd have to be a fudge of a lot younger than me, but it's possible to do all of that stuff now. It would take a lot of time, but you could do it. But the idea of inspiration over education, I think is my push right now. Is the idea of like, if you try to educate people about stuff, if you just go straight into that, I feel like it's so hard to do, especially unless you're 10. Unless you're a kid and you know how exactly what's going to resonate with them or not, which is almost impossible because they've got memes and stuff going on that I will never understand. But because I'm talking to them on a regular basis, like at least once a week, I'm online with a bunch of kids learning stuff about their world that I would never know as a parent. So the idea that if I can just point them at a few things and get them talking about stuff, the odd thing will resonate with them. Most of it won't. And I'm no longer, I used to be sort of like concerned that they weren't like picking it. Why are we sticking to this? Like, come on, we should be talking about this. I've given up on that. I throw stuff out there and it sometimes leads them down the path that I expect. But more than often, more than not, they tend to go in different directions that I hadn't thought of. And instead of going like, oh no, I now go like, oh, okay, so where's the hook here? Where's stuff that could be used to bring them around to taking an interest in an area of study that they will then pursue themselves? Because the reality is, I think Elon Musk even said this, like, you can educate yourself on YouTube. You just need to be inspired to look. So you need to find those things that are crazy exciting to you. And once you found them, no one can stop you. Like, it's like, I'm awful because of my, like, my friend said, like, the internet has ADHD. Well, so do you, David. That's why you're so good at this stuff. There's so many things to learn. I mean, why stop? Why ever stop? And it's just about trying to find that spark, try to find that, what is that Kenneth Robinson, magnificent Kenneth Robinson speech, TED Talk, talks about the element. I read his book too, amazing, by the way. You got to find that element. You got to find that thing that really sets the fire alight for them. And often it's got nothing to do with school, like nothing at all to do with school. And in fact, in some ways, I think for me, school crushed my scientific passions. I never understood that what I was doing, all this silly, nerdy crap that I do now, I didn't realize that was learning. To me, that was like, I felt guilty doing that because I wasn't doing my homework. How freaking ridiculous is that? I should stop doing this electronics so I could learn, so I can look at diagrams of a freaking electron, which were wrong, I might add. I was still teaching that stupid orbiting stuff instead of the whole idea that it's a cloud of probability and stuff. Anyways, point being is, I think that we're getting to a point where the curriculum and the educational system is holding back kids, is putting them off this stuff. I don't want to be a scientist. That's boring. I've been in science class. It's boring. I was like, what? Yesterday, the Baz is online looking at pictures of microscopes, and it's like, what are you going to do with that? So I ran downstairs and grabbed this giant, I'll grab it now. So I just, so you just grab this, which is this old one that I picked up. Actually, I picked up when my dad retired. He had to get rid of all his lab equipment, and he was gonna sell this, and I accidentally walked off with it. So grab that. Grab, a couple of boxes of slides. I mean, that's how you get excited about stuff. You grab a random slide and you go like, let's look at, what am I looking at? Let's look at mammal skin. So you know what I mean? And then they can do that. But again, they've got iPhones. They can do, you could do so many different things. Oh, that's mammal skin. Okay, so point being is, and I shouldn't have grabbed it the way I did because I'm just going to put a big smudge mark on it. But anyways, although that said, it looks like they're a little smudged already. But the point being is, like, if there's something there, if they're trying to figure stuff out, we got to, that's the stuff we should be pursuing, because it might not specifically be curriculum or whatever, but it teaches them to think. It shows them that they've got to, that in order to do cool things, they have to do, there's a little bit of work involved, but that work is fun if you're excited about the outcome at the end, or even the process of learning itself. Anyway, so all this because you're here, but I feel like this is about sharing this stuff, not just with the kids, but with parents, with educators and teachers and stuff. I'm not saying I know better than teachers. Teachers are fantastic. I mean, there's not all of them, but many of them are brilliant, driven, unique and wonderful approaches to teaching. But the problem is, we're reliant on that in every single subject, in every grade that our kids are going to. What are the chances that you're going to get a great math teacher throughout your entire education, especially if you're going to different schools? What happens when the curriculum keeps changing because the government system that's running it is changing mandates and requirements and tweaking the way they try to make themselves look better for elections? I mean, I feel like
we have this resource available to us. We have the we got the entire knowledge of the human race available at the tip of our fingers. With a quick search, we can find out everything there is to know about being a doctor or being a nuclear physicist. Or no, there's not hands-on stuff, and I'm not saying you shouldn't go to school for stuff that you should go to school for, but at the same time, you go to a science fair nowadays, all of the kids are doing stuff that is like far beyond university level stuff because they've done all the learning. They've gone through and experimented with stuff. They've seen it online. They've learned about stuff. There is something we got to watch out for, which is the illusion of knowledge, where you watch a video and you go, "Oh, I know how to do that." You don't know how to do it. You haven't done it. You've watched someone do it, so you think you know how to do it. And there's a tendency for kids to go like, "Oh yeah, no, I can build a fort." They haven't built a fort. They've just watched people do it online. So, and I do this myself. I'll like watch tutorials on programs and go like, "Okay, great, I've got that program done." And then when you sit down to use the program like a week later, you're like, "Where's the open?" You know what I mean? Like there is an illusion of knowledge that you have to be very, very careful of with this stuff. But who cares? I mean, there's going to be little things that have to be filled in, but the idea that the kids are excited enough to look this stuff up themselves is just amazing. So what do we got? Experienced an example of unreliable teachers. Had an awesome one last semester who was great and earned a 90. This term I got one who's a witch with a B, and I know doesn't care if I pass. I mean, see, but this is it. So I say, and I mean, people argue with me on this, and I think there's definitely another side to this, but I feel like, why aren't we just searching the interwebs for the best math? Let's say you're going to learn your basic algebra. So go and find the best lectures on basic algebra out there. Now, whether that be Khan Academy, and Khan Academy is a great way of going through, but the thing I found with Khan Academy is that it requires a certain level of attention. You have to force yourself to sit down and learn these lessons. And admittedly, at some point that will happen and people have to do that. But let's say you go and look for the best collection of algebra lessons taught by the most dynamic, the most exciting, the most crazy out there, inspiring algebra teachers. You go and find those. Then why do our kids then go to the local school where who knows who's teaching them the math? They may be really good. They may be better than this person. It's unlikely, but they might be. Why aren't we using those skills? Why aren't we using those videos of those teachers? They're available to anybody. I mean, this is what's happening in other countries. Other countries that don't have the money for the educational system. These kids are just they're like grabbing computers or whatever they can get, and just sucking up as much knowledge as they possibly can because they're interested. They're interested from a survival aspect. They're also interested because they're finding stuff that is interesting to them. There's a wonderful, wonderful TED Talks about a guy who had a educational consulting firm or whatever in India, and the offices he had, the wall of his building, the other side of the building was the beginning of the slums. In his area of India, and I've got to look these up because it's a brilliant TED Talk. And he cuts a hole in that wall, and he put a computer there. And everyone said, "You are nuts! They're gonna freaking steal that. It's gonna be blah, blah, blah." Anyway. So they put this computer there, and within like a week, there were kids who had worked out how to use it. Now, keep in mind that they're not speaking English. This computer is all English. It's all a Windows PC. It is not available in another language. They had to teach themselves another language, figure out how to log on, to search for what they wanted to, and they were learning stuff. And so this guy goes on to start putting computers in all of these little villages around India and letting them learn themselves, letting the ones that wanted to learn go and learn. And had this amazing success with it. And then you start once you've got them, once you've hooked them, then you can start pointing them at things where they can actually educate themselves in a proper way. And then maybe there are schools that they should be going to and stuff. But you want to get education to everybody, it's already here. It's right. It's like freaking YouTube, for God's sake. You can just learn on YouTube. Admittedly, some stuff's going to be wrong. And you got to be careful to, one of the things you got to learn is cyber citizenry. You have to know to double check, things. But wow, I mean, to me, that's what's exciting to me is that they have this incredible knowledge available to them at any time of the day or the night, anywhere in the world, as long as they have access to the internet. So, which of course is another thing. I was talking to a guy on Twitter the other day about that, because I'm worried about that as well. I'm worried that during a pandemic like this, the underprivileged communities, which of course, as is everything in this bloody world, which seems to be sort of definitely more biased towards people of color and Black communities and such, even in this city, indigenous populations as well. Terrible internet. We need to get that out to everybody, because could you imagine, like if we have an educated, passionate population, I think you'll find that the politics will work better, and the world will work better, and an educated science-minded community. I just think, God, that would be so exciting to me. You know what I mean? So anyway, so that's something else that I think is worth looking into as well, and that may be something that we'll discuss with Tech Bandits as well. The other thing that happened yesterday is I got in touch with God. What is his user tag? I think it's Gimpy God, I think, or the Gimpy God, or Gimpy the God, or something like that. And it's this guy with some physical disabilities. I don't know. I'm not sure whether they are. I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not entirely sure what it is that's caused them, or whether it's genetic, or what the deal is. But so he's been doing some gaming, and he wants to set up some new interfaces, or tweak some interfaces for himself, so he can do some more of it. And of course, that's stuff I've been talking to people about for years now. So we're in touch, and I'm really looking forward to seeing if we can. I'd like to sort of like collaborating with him on some stuff for his channel, because I just think that'd be so cool. Get the Tech Bandits doing some more assistive tech, because this is, I'll tell you, assistive tech is a talk about an inspiration thing. When kids see that they can that technology, those electronics, all that stupid stuff they're learning in school that's like make the light bulb go on. Well, guess what? That technology can be used to change lives, to turn Gimpy God into godlike gamers and things. So I think and again, the idea of like you're not doing this for people, you're doing it with people. Like I don't want to solve Gimpy God's problems. I want to work with Gimpy God to figure it out, because he is going to be part of this solution. There's a very ableist view that I had for years going into this stuff originally with assistive tech, and my sort of fascination with that. The idea of like sort of being this like knight in shining armor, arriving with my technology and saving these people from their terrible affliction. And the reality is, screw me. You know what I mean? Like it's like no. The whole point is that you can't. What is it? Is it not for us without us? I mean, you're working with people on this stuff, and I think there's again things to learn, things that kids should be learning. Is that you don't just go in and force solutions on people. You go and you talk to them. And the better you know people, and you better familiar you are with their situations, whether it be related to disabilities or even just the color of their skin, the way their societal or economic level, any of that kind of stuff. The more familiar you are with more people, the better equipped you are to work with them to better the world for all of us. So I'm really looking forward to that too. And that's always been a sort of a pet project thing for me, is the idea of assistive tech, and not just assistive tech because of course I'm entirely selfish. So not just assistive tech for people with disabilities, but what about people? What about enhancing what we've got? Like we've got, people talk about like, oh, I don't know if I want to have my brain augmented, but you know what? You already have, because you're walking around with a cell phone. You're walking around with a search tool that can look up anything you need whenever you need to. You are able to talk to people you're able to basically teleport and be somewhere else talking to someone in another part of the world. I mean, you are augmenting yourself by walking around with a cell phone. So the idea that the technology is what basically distinguishes us from animals anyways, why wouldn't we want to embrace this? But I feel like there's almost like a religious, cultural kind of a taboo to the idea of improving what God has made, with technology. And I think we're doing it already. I'm wearing glasses, for God's sake. Like if we didn't believe in technology, you'd be like, huh? I mean, like well, the reality is it's not quite that bad, but All right, look, I've talked for way, way too freaking long. I talk for an hour every time. My God, I can babble on. I'm so sorry. Okay, all right. I need tea right now. I can't. Was that? Hmm. You don't remember the gate address to Earth? Don't even start me, Orville. Is that a giant cup or just very close to? I know. It's small. It's small or far away. Was that Father Ted? Wasn't it? I love Father Ted. The difference between you don't need to insert the phone into your head. Well, no, not yet. But I'd sort of be up for it. I mean, I'd think about it. Ms. Liz, thank you so much for joining us. It's very nice, very, very nice to have you. Ms. Liz, by the way, is what basically keeps Barnacles going online. Actually, without curiosity, this is not possible. What is always say, and Steve Jobs says, stay hungry, stay foolish. The world's better with that. Yes, although I would argue that Steve Jobs, Steve Jobs is yes, absolutely brilliant, amazing what he's done. But I feel like he was of an era of these kind of almost God, what's the term? I'm trying to think. I don't want to say antisocial, but they're almost this very aggressive, very self-driven bullies, basically business bullies. And I think that while he had brilliant ideas, and I don't want to negate his contribution to society and to obviously Apple and technology and stuff, but I feel like he is of an era of these kind of alpha male corporate types that I don't think have considered the ramifications of their technology and the ramifications of their dealing with people and stuff. I mean, they're also almost sociopaths. I mean, they're so odd and detached and in their own little bubbles of influence that I feel like I really wanted to be that growing up. I wanted to be that kind of godlike power. And you realize that that's more about the ego than it is about the process. And I feel like we have rewarded these sociopaths basically with great riches and great fame and accolades and all this stuff. And the reality is that I think we need to start looking at the at the process, at how this stuff is done, and that these companies shouldn't just be rewarded for making money. They should be rewarded for their contribution to the planet, to mankind, mankind. I don't know what to say anymore. To the planet, to the quality of life for the people that they are influencing with their companies and stuff. And that sounds very sort of hippy dippy, and I don't mean to sound like that because I hate that. But I feel like we've got to stop just looking at this arbitrary money thing as the be all and the end all, like the amount of money that you make in a year is somehow that in itself is good enough. It's not, because if you make that much money by destroying the environment, by destroying populations of people, by crushing other industries and stuff, I just don't think that should be rewarded. I don't think that should be the way that we do stuff. It's not sustainable. If we keep rewarding this type of behavior, we're going to have 4 or 5 trillionaires running the world if we don't already. And they're all going to be odd, sociopaths, but by the looks of it, I mean, they're all going to be, straight white males is the other thing, the way it's going right now. So anyways, there you go. I'll leave that with you, that cheery thought. And now I must go and shower because I don't think I should show up at ADR in a little tiny studio as sweaty and disgusting as I am right now. So I'm glad I could share that with you though. So we shall talk later. Ethical discussions. You haven't even had coffee. I know I don't get to the coffee, do I? Is that how Biden won? I don't know, Gorilla Danish. I think, is that how Biden won? That's a big question. Yeah, I mean, I don't love the fact that my choices were Trump or Biden. I mean, I didn't love the fact that I had a choice of two, one career politician, one old, straight, white, old politician, or that Trump beast. Yeah, I think he won because people needed to change what was happening. I'm glad he won because I think he was a much better choice myself. I feel like the Republican Party isn't the Republican Party anymore. I mean, I always consider myself a bit of a sort of small government conservative, and I don't feel that way anymore. And I certainly don't feel that the Republicans have been reflecting that approach to conservatism for many decades now. So. And to have, again, to throw away everythof in this quest for domination of the vote by throwing away all of the things that are important to people. I felt that these weren't really Republicans anymore. That this was the Trump party. This wasn't a Republican party, and I felt that there were too many concessions being made for this guy and too many passes being given just because he was popular. And I've only got half an hour until I go, so I've got to really go. So that was Jane saying to stop talking and to leave. So I'm going to do that because when she talks like that, it's usually a good idea to listen. Okay, bye. Till we talk again. I should say be kind, be safe, be brilliant. And until we meet again, I will say cheerio.